With your CIGTV news update, I'm Shanda Gallego in for Donna Bush. In our top story, the Elections Office reports that early voting has begun for the December 19th referendum on the cruise berthing and cargo port facility. The Elections Office, which currently relocated its offices to Baytown Plaza, Georgetown, says getting ready for the December vote is keeping its team of currently some 50 full and part-time staff extremely busy. The office has also begun accepting registration for mobile ballots and applications for mobile and postal ballots. Now, earlier this week, Elections Supervisor Wesley Howell talked to us about early voting.
We have teams hard at work on our logistics, which is all the building preparation, the polling booth, ballot boxes, and they're getting on really well. We also have individuals preparing all the materials that folks will need for postal ballots, mobile voting, and for referendum day itself, and that's going well as well. And we're talking, thousands of pieces of materials, from rulers to pens to pencils to mark the ballot paper. So it's a whole lot of behind-the-scenes work that's going on.
Mr. Howell also shared some of the logistical details of the preparations his office is making for the national vote.
We've received and dispatched 148 postal ballots. And we're expecting the first of those to come in anytime soon. And that's a combination of persons who are registered voters who are overseas, requesting ballots be sent to them so they can vote away from the islands. And then other persons who are living in the Cayman Islands but will be away on referendum day. They're also requesting what we call local postal ballots. So they'll be sent to them locally. They can fill those out and return them to our office before they leave. That way nobody has missed their opportunity to vote because they're not here or not going to be here. So that's going on well. That will continue on to December 7th. It's the last day to request postal voting. Also the last day to request mobile voting. Our last issue of postal ballots then will be on December 9th. And then on December 10th we will start mobile voting, and that will carry on through December 13th.
To keep the public informed as preparations progress, the Elections Office is also keeping a running count of its mobile and postal ballot numbers on their website. The count is being updated at the end of each week, and for more information about mobile and postal balloting, or to answer any questions about how the voting process will work on referendum day, you can visit the Elections Office website. That is www.elections.ky. In other news, as the Cayman Islands strengthens its fight against money laundering, terrorist financing, and the financing of weapons of mass destruction, the local public and private sector came together recently to assess the risks it's misusing legal persons and arrangements. Earlier this month, about 150 persons attended the event hosted by the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority and the Anti-Money Laundering Unit. 5 presenters explained the various risks in which the Cayman Islands could be misused for financial crime to an audience of lawyers, accountants, realtors, financial institutions, and trust and corporate service providers. National Coordinator Elizabeth Lees outlines some scenarios in which such misuse might take place.
A legal person may be misused, for example, by being a front company for another company. For example, in one of the typologies we've seen today, where a payment is made on the face of it for a consultancy agreement, but in fact is a disguise for a bribe. It's usually part of a larger international structure whereby the bribe will be paid to a third country and the Cayman entity will be one part of an overall international complex scheme or structure.
Alric Lindsay, a local professional who attended the training, found it very beneficial.
I think they're very helpful. I think information provided on any aspect of how the international regulations affect the Cayman Islands are important, because it's not just the financial services sector. There are other businesses, for example, in the area of jewelry stores, real estate, and other areas where you have everyday, ordinary people conducting business. Some of these people are unaware of the regulations, and so when you have an outreach session like this, it does a great deal in informing people and also preparing them to meet our measures of compliance.
By increasing local industries' knowledge of risks, the Cayman Islands is meeting recommendations made by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force in a report earlier this year. The country has until February 2020 to make positive and tangible progress toward the recommended actions. In our final story, Governor Martyn Roper and his wife were among the crowd at BODDEN Town Heritage Day on Friday. Part of Pirates Week celebrations, the BODDEN Town Heritage Day event was organized by the BODDEN Town Heritage Committee around the theme Shipwrecks. Members of the public viewed extensive displays around the subject of shipwrecks, as well as Caymanian history and culture during tours of historical homes and an old-time Caymanian kitchen. In addition to live musical performances featuring old-time music, visitors to the Gun Square Road site in BODDEN Town enjoyed local food and drinks. Artisans also offered goods for sale at craft stalls. Organizing Committee Chair Mary Lawrence welcomed Governor and Mrs. Roper to the Heritage Day with special mementos.
As a token of our appreciation for their visit, I would like Miss Lizzie to come up. We have something special for her. No, that's all right. Okay. When Miss Lizzie came to BODDEN Town, we had to decide what to get for her. And so we decided that a little piece of the rock was the best thing, because no matter where she goes in the world, she can carry a little piece of the Cayman rock with her. Of course. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you very much. It's a pendant, and it's done by Horatio Esteban, and it has a little history of what the Caymanite stone is all about. Thank you. And Your Excellency, Mr. Roper, we have something for you. We think you need to learn a little bit more about us and who we are, and so we are presenting you with a book. Two books. This book, Up from the Deep, is written by Mr. Will Jackson, who passed away. But it's a beautiful book on the history, yes. Thank you very much. And this is not really, this is the Parliamentarian Supplement, which has the history of the Cayman Islands written by myself. Thank you very much. You're welcome. God bless. We don't want you to leave right now, though. You know, you want to stick around because we have some more things to show you. As the day progresses, we're going to have more people performing.
Mrs. Lawrence also spoke to CIGTV about the important role that BODDEN Town plays in the heritage and culture of the Cayman Islands.
BODDEN Town has more heritage collected than anywhere else in the Cayman Islands. In these two houses, we have literally thousands of items. And of course, we also have the kitchen at the back, which is made from lumber from the wreck of the Balboa. And we celebrate the fact that BODDEN Town was first in everything. We were the first people to be named magistrates by the governor of Jamaica, William Bodden and his two brothers. We are the only, as far as I know, territory that formed its own government. Everywhere else was colonized. Those three magistrates who were Caymanians, Boddens, they got together and with the principal inhabitants, and they formed a group of people to run the country. They set up the courts in 1823 first, and then in 1831 they decided they were going to have a proper parliament, and they had an election on the 10th of December, and they elected people to represent the various districts.
The last Heritage Day of 2019 takes place this Saturday in Georgetown. For more information, visit www.piratesweekfestival.com. We turn now to a story making news headlines at Radio Cayman. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service has launched its 2019 local recruitment drive. Now they're looking for a few good men and women interested in becoming police constables and auxiliary constables in the Cayman Islands. The RCIPS says applicants should be between 18 and 40 years old with a high school diploma and at least 3 O-level exam passes, including math and English. Applicants must have a clean police record and a valid driver's license. The application process has several stages, which each applicant will need to complete successfully to progress to the next level, to the next stage. It all starts with the submission of the application form, then a background check. Now, applicants must be Caymanian or a Caymanian status holder or possess permanent residence with the right to work. The deadline for applications is December 6th, 2019. And you can go online to both the Radio Cayman website and that of other partner Cayman Compass for more daily community news headlines. And finally, a look at today's forecast for the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Light and variable winds and slight seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a cold front currently over the southeast Gulf of Mexico is expected to move into the Cayman area tomorrow afternoon, along with an increase in cloudiness and showers thereafter. Radar images show isolated showers in and around our area moving southwest. Tonight's forecast calls for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Our temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Winds will be north at 5 knots or less, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights less than 2 feet. For a look at our forecast, you can go online to weather.gov.ky for the latest forecast, which can also be found on their Facebook page and on the Weather Radio dial. That's 107.9 FM. And remember, you can also download the National Weather Services app to have the latest weather information at your fingertips. And that is the latest from us here at CIGTV Television. To see what's on our programming schedule, you can go online to gis.gov.ky and click on the publications icon at the bottom of the page. As always, if you missed today's news update, you can get all the details on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And of course, don't forget to tune into Radio Cayman's For the Record and Talk Today shows, which are always packed of exciting guests. I'm Shanda Gallego. Thank you for watching.
Hazard Management Cayman Islands is the organization responsible for preparing the Cayman Islands for disasters such as hurricanes. Dr. Julia Van Genderen of the Water Authority chairs the Utility Emergency Support Team, one of the committees under the HMCI umbrella. In this Friday Focus, Dr. Van Genderen tells us about her role, what plan the Water Authority has in place, and how important it is for its 18,000 customers and other residents to be prepared if a storm heads our way.
As Director of the Water Authority, I am Chair of the Utilities Emergency Support Team, which is part of the HMCI's Emergency Management organization. And as part of that, our responsibilities, we look after utilities such as water, electricity, and fuel. Those are the 3 utilities that are under the responsibility of this Utilities EST. In my capacity as chair of the Utilities EST, I work very closely with representatives from CUC, Cayman Water Company, and the fuel companies, as well as with Off-Right. The Water Authority has what we feel is a robust hurricane plan. We had quite an interesting experience after Ivan, and our plan calls for ensuring that we have enough storage capacity. All of our reservoirs have to be filled. And in fact, if we look back to Ivan, we have now 3 times the capacity for storage of water compared to what we had when Ivan hit us. And in terms of water production, we have an additional plant in the north side area which has a capacity of 9,000 cubic meters per day, which is quite significant. We ensure that our staff are fully trained. We look after our staff as well. If there's an event coming up, we will ensure that they have opportunities to take care of themselves and their family. We ensure that we have sufficient inventory over the hurricane season. That's very important for us because, as you know, getting things in afterwards could be quite difficult if we have a very bad storm. Well, some of the challenges are we have to always keep the message out there to ensure that our customers are aware of what they can do during the season to be prepared. And we try to do that by a lot of social media and advertising PSAs on our local radio station, Radio Cayman. Things that we had challenged with is, for instance, our customers have to ensure that they have a lock-off valve. They have to ensure that they also make their own storage, those types of things. And of course, we are challenged in the sense that we do have to shut down the system if an event is coming. The reason we have to do that is that we want to preserve our storage capacity, and we're not able to send our staff out when there's tropical storm winds. So for the inconvenience for a few hours or 24 hours, maybe up to 48 hours, we ask our customers to understand that the system may be shut down. But that's why we really encourage you to have some preparations in place and have water stored to take care of your basic needs. We also are expanding our facilities in Cayman Brac. So we have more production capacity in Cayman Brac. We have more water tanker trucks to be able to assist that island. As you know, Paloma caused quite a lot of destruction there in 2008. So those are some of the things that we have in place. And also, when Ivan hit us, one of the things that caused a lot of damage was flooding. And so we have reinforced our entrances. We have floodgates. We have plugs for our drains. We've tried to cover as many ways as possible to keep water out from our facilities, especially in Georgetown and at the wastewater treatment plant. In terms of preparedness, it should be constant on your mind throughout this hurricane season. You always ensure that you have enough food stuff available, water, the ability to have water stored for your family, your pets, your medication, etc. We can't stress that enough. Be prepared, make a plan. Each family should have a plan, and that plan should say what we will do if. So those are the types of things we encourage our customers to do, besides ensuring that they have their shut-off valve. If you leave your property to go into a shelter or anything, make sure you turn off that shut-off valve by the meter, because you don't want to have any issues with broken lines and high water bills. If you're leaving your home to go to a shelter, you just turn off that shut-off valve that you should have there by your meter, because that protects you. Even if we turn off the water, there's a point where we're going to start turning it back on after an event. And if you've gone to a shelter and there's damage at your house or you left something on, then we may not be able to check every single meter box of our over 18,000 customers. You have a responsibility as a customer. Make sure that you shut that off. You don't want a high water bill.